The flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Josh, did you notice if anybody was online?
Nope.
I have to read this stuff anyway. The meeting is open to any interested member of the public. Agendas are prepared for the meetings. Agendas may be requested by email from the board secretary, Jen Pinside, and are available at our website. Agenda packages due to their size will not be printed for the meetings or the public's request. The public can access the view on the website and download them and print them at their own. Okay, I will call the meeting to order and welcome all the board members, and we'll take roll call. I see nobody in our audience, so
Greg,
Jen?
Here.
Pam, here. Jeff,
Here.
Tom,
Here.
Frank,
Here.
Doug,
Here.
and me.
Name is the only one that is absent this evening. During the course of the meeting, the public may be heard before a vote is cast by the board. President will acknowledge the public once the motion has been made and discussed by the board for their input. President will recognize speakers who raise their hand. Once recognized, the speaker should move to the side of the board table so comments can be heard. Please identify by name and also spell your last name. And your comments will be limited to 2 minutes. Each speaker will have one opportunity to speak on any agenda item. Once the public comment period is over, the public may not provide further comments or ask any additional questions during the remainder of the agenda item being discussed, unless specifically requested by the chair or presiding officer of the meeting. Welcome back, everyone.
Well, thank you.
We'll start.
Did you want to push the chair out so you guys can spread?
Might show
Okay.
up. Can I have an agenda?
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Public comment on non-public hearing agenda items. Any member of the public may be heard on any subject that is not on the agenda. The board will not take any action on these items at this time, but may choose to add them at the next meeting's agenda for discussion. With that, I will ask for approval or amendment that of the agenda.
Well, Tom brought it up, but in the minutes that he sent out, but for the new business, there isn't much of the data there to support the new business. The resolutions weren't included. The resolution on task order 28 and 29, nor is there any information about Grace Point Church in terms of what action is desired.
Right. And they're just there for discussion items right now and to see what line we're going to take.
Okay, so 28 and 29 are just discussion and not, okay.
Tom, did you want to amend the consent agenda?
We have anything to amend it with?
Do we have the bills?
Minutes first.
No. Good job.
Was I supposed?
Bills.
What bill?
Which ones do you want? The one,
The interstate ones.
Should be 6 interstate and then one from the census.
Yeah, one of the 6 you actually had in your documents, and that hasn't been paid.
These are prepaid bills, right?
No. These are the ones that We need to.
Now,
we need to
John,
clear those.
weren't they in last month packet?
Yep.
Can we refer to, anybody have the old minute?
No, they weren't included in the minutes, and at the work session, you could come up with the amount. So we directed you to put the revised bills in this agenda packet, and they're not in. So again, we can't deal with it. And also the board moved in June that we weren't gonna pay interstate bills unless they were itemized, and the bill that is in the packet is not itemized.
We had two invoices from Interstate Engineering last month that they did itemize. And they were not paid. It was invoice 53,950 and 53,951. Then during the course of the last few weeks, we have 4 more interstate engineering bills that were in the weekly bills paid. There are invoices 54,598.
Yeah, no, we know, we were talking about that earlier. And,
54,608, 54,609, and 54,610.
yeah,
They do not appear on the sheet of prepaid bills. We also seen a bill from Western
I gotta hold things up now.
Municipal.
We need, amendment to alter our agenda so we can discuss this.
Well, then I move for amending the consent agenda to adding an item concerning the unpaid bills. of Interstate Engineering fix-up, one from the census for $900 and one from Western Municipal for $330 something.
Yeah.
Would it? I'm assuming you want
I
discussion.
will not discuss a motion until there's a second, so you're out of the.
Okay, Frank seconds. Yeah,
So you're gonna move to pay them in their entirety?
We can't even discuss them unless there's an item on the agenda. What are we gonna do with these bills?
We could discuss them in new businesses. Or old business. If we put them in consent agenda, there's no discussion.
Well, it could be.
Okay, and I'm gonna make a substitute motion that we segregate those interstate engineering bills and put them in old business.
okay, is there a second on
Well,
that?
wait, may I change my motion to putting all of these unpaid bills into old business?
Sure.
Sure, I'll second that.
Okay,
Thank you.
The interstate ones, the census and western one. That's what you want printers of.
Yes, those,
Now,
thank
are
you,
there
John.
any other bills that we see even through during the week that have been objected to bring to a meeting? I don't find these 4 interstate bills in the prepaid bills, so they must have been objected to. They weren't objected to by me. The Western Municipal bill, I objected to, I wanted to talk about dinner. And the other 3 are from last month.
I think as a matter of course, they should come up under old business, no.
I guess, right. Oh, no, Jeff seconded the change.
The final one?
Yes.
So motion for old business.
Okay, then we will go into,
You better vote on it.
without objection. Motion is passed. Okay, we'll start with approval of minutes from June. If we get a motion to approve the minutes for June. So Frank has moved to approve the minutes for June 19th meeting. Is there a second on that? Second. And Greg has seconded. Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, take a roll or take a voice vote, all in favor of accepting the minutes and to approve for June 19th, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition?
Yeah.
Oppose it, okay. So we got. Item one. Now we'll move to the consent agenda. Prepaid bills, is there anything that needs to be segregated out of that?
Well, the things, the consent agenda doesn't really list the things that are in the consent agenda packet. So I've got 3 questions from page 11, page 14, and page 60. So can I do that here? Can I do that?
Yeah, so discuss it until there's a motion. So I'll move to accept the consent agenda.
Frank had moved that, so.
I'll
you'll second it.
You didn't? I'm moved to accept the minutes.
Oh, the minutes, okay. Tom
I'll
moved
move to accept the consent agenda.
to, is there a second on that?
Second.
And Greg has seconded. Okay, go ahead now.
Okay, so it says that the minutes go through page 13, but they don't. So on page 11, there's a profit and loss statement that shows that the service line fee decreased by 31%. The income from service line fees decreased by 31% last year. I don't know how that's possible when the service line charges $1.30 a month and we have essentially the same number of hookups. So can somebody explain to me how that happened? What that means?
On page 11,
Page 11, yeah.
and page 11 doesn't match up with that.
That page numbering is off of the agenda packet. It's
Yeah.
numbered on the page. Well,
It's numbered on the page and it's also numbered on the side.
profit and loss statement. Page 11 of the PowerPoint.
Those are.
Page 11, yeah, it's profit and loss statement on there. Okay, what was the,
How do we go down 31% for a fixed fee that's $1.30 per hookup? Per month?
Well, let's get Josh in, because I believe there was some other big, larger hookup last year that goes beyond $1.30. I believe it was a 4-inch line of some sort.
But it decreased 31%.
Right, what I meant was last year.
Okay, the
Year.
decrease, but it's at the service line, this is not a service line hookup, this is a service line fee, which is monthly. So
Yeah.
the fees are consistent, so how do we drop 31% when we have,
I believe that it had something to do with the larger hookup last year, because I had this.
that we don't have now?
That we did not have this year,
Okay,
yeah.
I'd like,
But I make a note to verify it and let you know exactly what it was.
okay. So then I have a question on page 14. The Raft Ellis bill was not approved for payment in June, but you paid it. And we didn't stop the work. But we specifically asked you at the work session for an itemized bill, so the Raft Ellis bill was paid without road commission. We don't have an itemized bill, and apparently additional work was done because you sent us a work product that Andrew apparently had prepared. So I'm totally confused about why we didn't follow the board direction. And did Andrew do work beyond last month when we specifically asked to see an itemized bill?
Well, I did talk to him and the work had stopped. And there was no work brought up. There was no report issued by them, and I think Jeff made that comment. And so I asked him, submit something in writing that the work is terminated. And no more work was to be done. That was about a week ago. So he knows that it was a $40,000 contract somebody signed to do the work. And when the city decided to lower their rate from $4.40 to $3.07, somebody dropped it. No more work was done.
So, okay,
Right, you just adopted the minutes. On page 4 of those minutes, it's quite clear that Jeff made a motion to pay the bill. Now, top of page 5, the motion's repeated. Jeff makes motion to pay the bill, have GM contact them to stop all work. Tom seconds. Doug, Greg, Tom, Frank, Jeff, Pam, 4, Ming against, motion passed. That was a motion to pay the Raftillus bill. Yes, we voted to pay it. It was not paid without the consent of the board, because the minutes clearly say we
Tom, that's
voted
okay.
yes.
Got it. Okay. Other comments?
I have a question on page 16. We seem to have, and I think it maybe just said, a vocabulary issue, but we seem to have way more equity. It appears that we've got, okay, let me get to 16. real quick.
Let's see. That was on page 16.
It's on page 16. Let me get out. No, it's not coming up.
A question about the asset.
Yeah, the assets seem to be a lot higher than our cash, so I'm assuming that you've integrated, the value of the land, of the buildings and the equipment, but it looks like it's cash across the board.
Well, we have a detailed depreciation schedule that shows the acquisition, the depreciation, which I have, and I can send you that.
Right, but. Okay, yeah, I was looking at the cash statement, which seemed to be $17 million higher. Seemed to be 17 million, but now I'm not having. Page 16 is not pulling up. So I'll send it to you in writing. Then the last,
The current asset is almost 9 million versus 8.3 last year, an increase of 7.7%, mainly. The income fund. So our equity changed, it increased. 3%, $645,000.
okay,
Now, these are pre-audited numbers. And my experience looking back, the depreciation was $740,000 last year. And there might be an adjustment in there. But the land, as you know, you don't depreciate land, you depreciate buildings. And if you look at the difference between this year and last year, there is no provision for depreciation applied to building maintenance and office equipment yet. So these are pre-audit, and our Black Mountain computer system is Sesame Street. It doesn't do audits. And that's why God invented auditors, so they can adjust them. So that we see the right pictures. Our staff, it's not at that level where we make our own adjustment. And I don't think you want to go there. You want to have a certified accountant.
no,
Make
and
those
I was
adjustments.
thinking about something else, but it's not showing up on page 16 and I didn't copy and paste it, so.
I have a great sheet that I will send to you that shows the balance sheets compared with last year and the changes. But these are pre-audit, so you're not gonna tell you the whole story, but it's a balanced number. And what I'm interested in, where are the changes? And for the board's information, the net change to the equity is 426,000. So we went from 17.2 to 7.7 this year. So an increase of 426,000 or 2.5%. And our current ratio, I would assume everybody who's been in business know what a current ratio is. It was 21.7. A business that had a current ratio of 3 and 4 doing very well. A business with a current ratio of 21 had too much money. This year, this past year is 42.8. So obviously, we do not have the cash in the right places. Cash is not working.
Okay, so,
Now, with this Western Municipal bill, with this new pipe,
Yeah,
the old pipe is well over 50 years old, because it was put in the 60s. So it was depreciated to a value of 0. What kind of a value will this new pipe, will it have the full almost 400,000, the 230 Western charges plus all of the parts and?
if it was the building, it takes on the life of your schedule.
Yeah, well, that would be.
Pipe is not.
40 years, pipe is not an asset.
No. I could send you the depreciation schedule and what I listed by the age. So most of the pipes are depreciated.
But when
And,
you, this
in
new
my,
pipe, how it looks like, what kind of a value will have to go in to increase our assets? How much money will we be saying we've increased with this?
well, when we, and we have that in our capital investment plan, those 20 different items totaling over $30 million. Pipe replacement is a biggie. It's not just the cost of the pipe. The cost of installation, the engineering and that sort of thing. And before anybody will come and touch the pipe, we have to figure out the condition of the pipe. So in my depreciation schedule, it gives me a hint, where are the oldest pipes that are full of depreciation, and I have that listed by month and year. So I have talked to people to do the investigation of the pipe, including the city, Lewis, how they did it. So you determine the map, the layout, the age of the pipe, and then you snake it and see how bad it is. And in that process, included in that process, is leak detection. Now, we have a excellent record this year. And now I'm going off tangent, our chairman is becoming nervous. But this is a good number. They call it non-revenue water. And it's about 5%. It sounds high, but it's very low. The city is probably close to 3 times that. So that's very good. I don't know if I answered your question, but I will send you, this is a good sheet. I love to look at this, but it's not in your packet.
Yeah, what I did find it on page 16, so under equity, it shows that we have $17,670,000 in equity.
Correct.
So there's a fund balance in O&M of 565, a fund balance in the acquisition fund for 8.8, a fund balance in the capital improvement fund for 6.6. So it brings our total equity to $17,670,000, but we only have 9.1 in cash. So that just seems like there's something wrong there.
No. You're talking about equity and talking 2 different things.
But
Because
that's
it's equity,
what's
doesn't
on page 16, and it says fund balance, capital improvement fund, $6,651,560.
okay, let's let him explain.
Let me go to the correct page you're looking at, page 16.
Yeah.
And you are,
I'm looking at what it says is equity and the fund balance
yeah,
in each of those accounts,
yeah,
which brings us up to a fund balance of 17 million.
That's
That's our equity, yeah.
But in the acquisition fund, we have 8.8 million, and in the capital improvement fund, we have 6.6 million. Where?
That is the value of those funds.
So where do we have the capital improvement fund?
Well, the way I read this, Mayor,
Yes, what is it?
if I may. I'm looking at the you're at the bottom of page 16.
Well, and so, yeah,
Now,
so
this is on the liability side. So. Okay, we got an asset side at the top and we got the liability side at the bottom. So you have to total up to the same.
But, you know, this, like a corporation,
Yeah, it's,
because they have an equity position of, X million. Doesn't mean on the other side of the balance sheet, that X million in cash.
Okay, and I don't question that, but then it shouldn't say fund. Because fund is cash,
that,
isn't it?
No, Jeff, go ahead.
well, that might be a good question to ask of our auditor, just in terms of the labeling of the accounts, once again. You know, we've kind of talked about that at
Yeah.
the end of end of 23, and maybe it's time to go over that again. Because it's just a labeling issue.
Tom?
Is it not or net worth?
That's
That's
exactly what it
exactly
is.
what it
Person's net worth is not called in cash. You have belongings that have a value. You have a net worth of X. But that doesn't mean you have that much money in your hand. You have assets that have a value.
Yeah.
And that makes your net worth just like this district has assets that have a value. And we have cash. The total of the assets in cash is this district's net worth.
Correct.
Yeah, that I comprehend, I consider comprehend fund. And I have one more question. So on page 14, we have the prepaid bills that include the checks to the directors, but it does not include the checks to staff. So in the past, we've, for me to approve something, I want to see all the checks that are written. If you give us a list of things that are selected, we'll show you some funds, but not all the funds. We'll show you some checks, but not all the checks. It makes me think, what are you not showing me?
What other checks do you think are in there?
All the checks to staff, the checks, this,
No. This is under, that's on a different sheet.
it isn't
It's
in,
not in Pence right now.
it's not in the packet.
Right.
And before, the payments to directors were paid out of the payroll. So now we have some payroll checks and not all of them. And it's just not okay.
Tom,
There's more in than just steps. There's also the money that goes to the census or retired. There's also a check that they cross for health insurance. There's checks for life insurance, do whatever. That all used to be in the payroll. So we would see a spreadsheet similar to those prepaid bills. Out of that payroll. But that, I'm not telling, I'd like to see it. I don't know why if I was privileged that we can. I don't care. Payroll could be one line, all added up into one line. I don't care.
well, we have a payroll down on,
I'm not interested in seeing the money that's sent to the census, Blue Cross, et cetera. Out of the payroll account each month. I think that's important to see.
Yeah, last month I requested the same information. And Josh told me he was sending it to me, so he sent me the information with only the payments to the board members. So said, no, I want the full payroll count. So then he finally sent it, but by then it was well past Monday. This time I just like, come on, it's been clear what we want to see and we're still not seeing it. So,
So you wanna see the detailed payroll?
like I want to see each check that's written. Because if you're selecting out, you show us some checks and not all the checks, what else are you not showing us?
We have a list of all checks written, we have a month, that's a small thing to do.
It's a check register.
Yeah.
Of course you have it.
I mean, we can do that with Black Mountain, Josh Eason. We can do a lot of things there,
Right.
but I think it might be a communication problem. You want copies of all checks or a
No,
listing
no,
of
no,
all
no.
checks.
Just like it says debt carry $100. Last month, we saw things that said Bo Anderson, X dollars for salary. This amount to census, this
Yeah,
amount.
yeah.
And this month, we don't see it, but we still see the payments to debt carry. So you're selecting out some checks out of the payroll check register and not giving us all of them.
Okay, let's see what to do about that for next month. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Or is there
Seconded by Greg.
anything else? All in favor of accepting the consent agenda with the caveat to list checks for the next month? Please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm gonna say no, because this is the third month I've asked for this. So unless we get it, my answer is no.
But apparently we have,
Motion has passed.
I'm talking to Jen, apparently there are different check accounts. For instance, you guys check are not out of the payroll like there.
Well, they were, but it doesn't matter. I want to see all the checks, not just
Yeah,
some
but
of the
that's-
checks.
We're not holding anything back. I think it's a question of communication. What exactly is it you want? You know, we'll give it to you.
Before we were seeing the check register, the format that you have on page 14 is way better because it's readable. This is not readable because it's way too light and way too small. So, and the check register that we were seeing before is just way too light. Obviously, you can produce a really good quality form, and that's what I'd like to see, but with all the payments.
Okay.
And the check numbers.
Move on to financials.
We'll send you, between now, and before what it was supposed to be here, so you can get a look at what we have right now and see if it's okay or not. So we don't have to have a fourth meeting this same, this month.
Totally agree. But
So let's do that. You can put it in there. Yeah, but what, wait.
If you want to print one copy for me.
I don't have
They
to
already
read
made the
one-
motion.
I don't want
Move
paper
on.
copies. I want a digital copy and it should come to the full board.
Yeah, let's wait, let's do it right.
To clear up the contract, if you could just do a black and white file rather than the color. Yeah, because
Yeah,
that's what I have to do at home. Because I can't, I have the light conditions and I don't can be done.
but that's something with the program. I noticed the same thing and I try to make it darker. So we correct it, we'll correct it. It prints the same way for me, so we will correct it. So font darker.
Financials. Any discussion on those?
Some of the accept financial reports.
Thank you, Tom. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jeff.
I have a question, Jim.
Okay.
So where do we add in, I know the interest on Steeple hasn't been paid, but the interest on the STIP is, so are we including that in our balances? I mean, you're going to the website and looking up, okay, last month we made $1,500 or whatever.
Yeah.
So is that being added into our assets? When you print the summary?
It's a separate line item for investment income.
Okay, so,
Be interesting. to
Yeah,
know.
it's the very bottom of the P and L sheet.
okay,
You see other, it says other income.
okay.
Yeah.
And so, but the only other income there is SIP, right?
Well. Unfortunately, the 401k is listed there, the fund, I don't know why. It's a Black Mountain thing. So we'll correct, because that certainly isn't an income, it belongs to our employees.
Right.
But for some reason, it's listed as an income, it's actually an expense, you know, so we'll take a look at that. I don't know, right.
Any other comments on financials?
This is the June financial.
Yes,
Could I add something?
sure.
Because it was year end. Aren't you excited about the year end financial result? Yeah, that's, we are. So I'm good for everything. You don't. We don't miss them. So I just want to report to you that the water that we delivered, we're in the water business, we sell water, not apples. So we sold 835 million gallons, 835 million gallons. Was that up or down? It was down 3.4%. So we have three categories. We have commercial, irrigation, or residential. The largest by far is residential at 64%. Increased 6.7% last year. Commercial, second, 243 million, 29%. Took a beating of 21.6%. Commercial went down 21.6. Irrigation, 56 million, 52 million last year, up 7.6. So what went down last year, the only of the three categories was commercial for some reason. I don't know. why.
Because
That's
it was
because it was called out.
That we lower the
Well, and there was never a commercial rate previous to last year.
it was, we had one.
This is gallons. This-
Right, but it was never segregated, it was one rate for all.
So it's not explained why gallons went down.
So total revenues went down 1.4% for $80,000. Now, the sexy component here is our cost of goods sold, not apples, water, went down almost 20%.
The cost,
No, how can you say that when we haven't got bills for May or June?
I know we prorated that. I insisted we kind of.
So
Not only
that's
that, but the
May
city,
and June for.
the city didn't even know how much water. So Josh, when we do the takeoff every month, we actually take a look at the big meter. We learned the hard way. We take a look at the big meter, what it says, while the city didn't even do that. So they're billing us based on their own or on rates. So, okay, so we emailed them about this and that. And I told Susan, we need an invoice, basically an invoice that all this stuff's got to be audited. We don't have anything. So we have our own email, what it's supposed to be. So, they verified it, yes. And this is about 3 or 4 weeks ago. You're correct, we'll bill you. We have a little computer issue, it's gonna be 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We still don't have.
they still don't know what it's doing.
So anyway, but the cost of the water is reflected. We run a business here, water is not free. So it went from 3,026,000 last year. And it was 54%, 54.5% of sales revenue. So the water cost, COGS, cost of goods sold, 54. This past year, it was 40. So that's 20% less. So I expect this year to be even better.
Huh?
On our financials, on our content, over last month, I thought we voted to move money sitting around into the state. I don't see anything on here where any additional money was added.
Well, they will, what we
Nothing
talk
came
about
due. There was,
there,
it was, the motion was anything that was coming, all the CDs that were coming due, any of that was to be put in, then nothing has come due. I don't think our next one comes to until October.
I thought the money that. was-
No, there's that steeple smart rate, there's 500,000 in that, but that's still gaining 5 point some% interest.
Better than this. I thought they were talking about money at first interest.
Yeah,
Yes,
Because
we
we-
were.
we've got almost 900,000 sitting earning nothing, and it's not FDIC insured. So there's no
Well,
reason why we're not moving that into SIP.
it's 1.3 million as we said. Right now, it was 810,000. And I was part of their sweep account. That was 0.8%. I talked to Sydney this early today, Jen and I. And, so that does get swept and it's at 1.05. And that's sweep daily. But we do have an account. What we call first interstate savings account that's have been sitting there, you said, a couple of years. So that's earning a whopping 2.75%. I would like to recommend to the board that we add it to our long-term staple, and we're on 9.75 plus.
Or where do you wanna put it? Do you wanna invest it in the CDs or you wanna put it in the STIP? The state, the short-term investment pool.
Yeah, that one earns, it's over 5.7, isn't it?
Yeah.
It varies daily, but yeah.
Right, but this one is pretty fixed and it's been fixed for 2 years.
Is it a CD or is it just an interest bearing account?
And it's the savings account.
Simple savings, it can be moved any.
So this is kind of a widow's account.
I thought that's the kind of money that we were talking, the motion was made last month, over to the state for. Missing something?
I seem to remember.
We just, I asked to put it on the work section because we just have so much money sitting around doing nothing.
I think, hey, we gotta do whatever we can to earn money. Sitting with these
Well,
accounts.
this should be a day-to-day operation. This should be under your purview to move this money as you see fit to do the best day-to-day for the best. I don't think this is. I think it's day-to-day.
Okay, I'll take the blame. I just wondered, was there any reason why you had it there in the first place? Somebody decided to open up
I
savings.
don't think anybody on this board has been
Been
around.
around long enough.
How much total is it? You said there's the, just a straight savings account and there's the sweep account, so.
Well, the sweep account, okay, listen to this. End of June, we had $810,000. We're sitting here, 17th of July, roughly 2 weeks later, business. We have 500,000 more than we did first of July.
So where did that come from?
Our customers are trained to pay their bill, or she will personally visit you. So that's the problem.
The bulk of the bill, the bulk of people pay early in the month. And then you get, it trails out.
Okay.
So do you need the sweep account for some special reason, with that much money in it, or?
Well, okay, I'm glad you asked it, because the first, I think $250,000, 0.429 is 6.6, and over $1 million, it's 1.05. So I asked her, I wonder if they have a tier system that we have. And she said, no, for the full amount, so. It's sweep daily, so what I'm saying is that 1.3 is earning a 1.05 rate.
Well, my question, and we're kind of morphed into the board manager's report, but my question is, what do you think the district should have in terms of ready cash
Well,
available to cover a month's worth of expenses? Wouldn't that be enough money to keep in a liquid account?
I'm glad you mentioned that, and if you look at the Raptor's report. What's it, 1.6% times, there was something, I think it was less
90
than,
days worth.
yeah, 9, yeah. So we are considerably higher than that, so,
But can you give me a number?
oh,
How much money do you think we should have lifted in that sweep account on average?
okay, our monthly expenses. Are about 100,000, so I would say we should. Take off at least 450,000 and put a lower term. That's what I would do.
It's, the thing is,
As I understand it, the state fund, you're allowed to take money in and out on a daily basis, is that not correct?
And it's an excellent fund.
All right, so if we have enough in the first interstate sweep account to handle the average month.
Yeah.
And the rest was put over in the state fund.
Yeah.
We would be able to access it daily, so if a big bill came in on the 20th of the month, within 10 days, it could be paid, because the money would come from the state, pay the bill, and you would still have your first interstate cash for everything that goes on, Dave. I don't believe this belongs to board to make a policy. I think this is a day-to-day operations management item to service the district at best, and I think you can do a heck of a job without the board's interference on your own.
Well, I just look at this and I have to look at this as my own business, and we have too much cash and too little brains. So we need to apply the brain to the cash and make the cash work, you know, and we can earn twice, and we're talking about real money here. Too.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, come on.
I'm gonna say I agree and disagree with Tom. We've earned $7,000 in 2 months on 1.2 million at SIP. We're earning 1% at First Interstate and paying $800 a month for fees. You know, I'm sorry, I think that's a board responsibility. What's happening now for money is not good. I've been complaining about it for 2 years.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to move it into SIP. You get very high fee, you get very high returns. You don't have the management fees. You don't have SIP skimming off the top for the cost of the CDs, and you can access your money at any point. So when something comes up, like we want to replace the main on Wix,
Yep.
we've got the cash there and we're earning better money than we can earn at SIP.
I'm glad
Then we
you
can earn
brought-
it at
I'm
Seacom.
glad you brought up Wix, because I think Doug has some good news on phase two.
Okay.
Okay,
So are we done with this discussion? Are we gonna pass a motion? Are we gonna ask the director or ask the general manager to invest the funds more wisely?
I think we're just.
And I would also like to ask him to review the banking relationships.
right,
I don't like paying those fees. I don't believe they're
Right.
charged by every other institution in town. I'd like you to look around.
Right.
That's my
and
request.
we'll formulate a little unofficial policy too about cash reserves, and that's, because we have a payroll account, we're sitting with 200,000. And our payroll is not 200,000 every other week. Not yet.
I think that would be within your purview as well, sir.
Okay, so move in second, right?
It might not hurt to just walk across the street and talk to that bank.
Stucker.
Yeah.
But again, the US Bank has special charges for government entities that are far lower than any other bank according to other government entities.
If we can utilize a bank that uses our water and is our customer and the numbers come out the same. If you owe that to the Heights.
Now, we're a real unique position, we're strong, the banks would love us as a client.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the financials. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
What was same sign? Motion has passed. Managers report now. Oh,
Okay. I'd like to start with, reporting on staff, my favorite subject. We couldn't do what we're doing without a well-qualified, well-motivated, and I was going to say, well-paid staff, but that is later. So we have 8 people on the payroll right now. And how long have they been here on the average? 10.7 years. That adds value to the organization as far as training and getting the job done on time. And we are, Josh, looking for 1, possibly 2 more. And we have set up an appointment, you have set up an appointment with at least 1. Very difficult to attract the type of individual that we need, because our kind of profession is well sought after outside here. And our benefits, as you know, are great, our pay is pretty good. So I hope we can have it solved real quick. Number 2, after staff. If you don't have a good staff, you can't keep customers happy. So number 2, customer complaints. So we had complaints from customers regarding the new rate. And as you know, we have implemented a different 4-tier system. And we start with the first gallon. We charge for the first gallon, and the meter is $19.70 plus the $1.30 line. So it's $21 plus whatever you use. So some people are coming into the irrigation season. They're getting a wake-up call because their bill really hasn't changed much. Now with the irrigation season, our average customer used 4 times more water during the irrigation season than off. So normally we sell 40 to 50 million gallons a month. Now 160 to 170 million. And you can imagine what strain that puts on our system. And that's why we have these tanks, and that's why we have the SCADA system monitoring the tank and resetting the water level, etc. I know this is guru, but this is playing a piano, and we have to serve the people, and that costs money. So passing on our costs have been difficult, and it originated with the RevTels study last year, as you remember. So the timing was a little unfortunate in that the negotiations with the city had been not been completed, and we were at $4.42 per thousand. And after this report, we implemented the rate. It was dropped to 307. Anyway, what does that mean? It's a $1 million revenue boost. Okay. Number 2, in that report, we have the capital investment plan of pipes, equipment. Some 20 item totaling $36 million. That was part of Reptella's calculation. And that's how the rates were set. So I asked him last week, says, we're gonna want to squeak about this new rate. I feel somewhat guilty that we haven't implemented it all, and the rates are low. And he assured me, Bo, let me tell you something, in this business, sometimes things get a little delayed as far as investment, equipment, replacing the pipes. We have to draw new maps, we have to take in inventory of a lot of the pipes we don't have. And then we have to snake in with this electronic equipment. And the investment really never happened when they're supposed to happen, but you will do that. And as far as the city is concerned, they already announced they're going to have double-digit increase in the next couple, 3 years. So leave it alone, leave the rates alone, because you have all the justification for it, except you had a delay, and that is normal. So I feel very comfortable where we are, and Doug and I defended our position today with a reporter. I think she just left. We had like a half-hour interview and videotaped this, and I believe that we satisfied her worries. So she brought up Abby Alyssa Webb, the 79,000 gallon wonder. And I was prepared, and I have handouts here for you, how I calculate. I know Pam calculated it. That this was somewhat a fluke, and that she must have had a little issue with leaking pipes. So we sent people over there a couple of days ago.
Yesterday.
And we put in some monitoring equipment. They couldn't find anything. Josh was proud of. There was nothing obvious. So here I have a calculation on how you calculate that rate, and I gave it to her. And then also a press release. Why are we increasing? And once again, we have done a lot to our operation. We now treat water. We have a chlorination plant. You saw it. That's an over $1 million plant that require new skill set. It's part of our SCADA system. We have more tanks, training, monitoring. It's more value to our customer, but it all costs money. So to deliver 1,000 gallon will cost more. And then what we are telling them, the customers, that the lower user, 45% to 50% of our customers are using less than 4,000 gallons. And the difference in price is between $5 and $7. It's a local bread. And then try to encourage them to save water. And we list half a dozen plus ways where they can take some action by using, I got it. To encourage them to reduce their cost by implementing some of these water saving features, faucets, EPA I'm referring to an EPA site to use water smart approved equipment from dishwasher to faucets and that sort of thing. And following our conversation with a Channel 8 reporter, I made this calculation and example of how you can calculate what your water costs will be based on usage and how we refer to our webpage calculator. It's a very nice calculator and it shows it all. We'll pass those.
Thank you, comment.
Yes, oh, this customer had no issues until we started watering the grass, right?
Right, I mean, it was quite a jump from the usage.
That's what I mean, they didn't have any, this went into effect in December and they had no issues with the rate increase until they started watering all of that.
Yeah.
So obviously, I mean, 810 gallons an hour to a 3/4 inch hole. It doesn't take very many hours to get it for 70,000. Yeah. And you can put a lot of water on the yard.
You know, an 18-wheeler, a tanker, you see with gas and water and milk, that's about 6,000 gallons. She used 11 of those tankers a month. It's impossible. So either something is wrong with the meter, a leak somewhere on her side, because we metered it. She paid for it, $622. What's that? Yeah, Rex was great. But all customers are important to us, and we will find the solution. We will find what happened and report back to it. Now, we monitored the first couple of weeks in July. And I mentioned to you that we had $500,000 more in the last 2 weeks. So we're collecting a lot more money.
Well, to me, that makes sense because they're using more water, so our sales are gonna be up. So my guess is we'll see, as a result of the conservation incentives, we'll see conservation this summer, particularly after this first round of bills. People will make more conservation use and sales could decrease dollar wise.
And we'll post this on the webpage too, and the other forms. So encourage the people to calculate themselves and take these measures and try to reduce their usage. Not that we do not have water, we have lots of water, but it costs more to treat and it costs a lot more money to get it from the city here. And we know that next year is going to cost us at least another 12%. So.
June was an extremely dry month this year. It wasn't all that hot like it is now.
Yeah.
But it was warm and extremely dry. So this month, I expect you will see even higher bills than the same with the next month. They're always a traditional highest month, July and August. And then a steep decline in September. That's the way it's always been.
Yeah.
If she used only a bath of water, could we at least have monitored her meter for a couple of weeks when she's watered her grass to see what's going on? But prove to her that, hey, it went through their meter read it. It's not her fault.
Anyway, we are passionate about it.
Can I respond?
Yep.
She provided her bill from August of 23.
Yeah.
And had she used the same amount of water in August of 23, in June of 24, her bill would have been $379, not $622.
Correct.
So something's wrong. All of these ideas cost money and are not short term. I mean, there's a couple of things that you can do. I mean, last year we had problems because we had too much pressure, and so we have a pressure reducer on. But our pressure reducer had broken, so it had split a lot of our piping and we had a lot of leaks. So that's one thing that Duke used to tell people to do is put pressure reducers on, number one. And number two, there are controllers, like we have a controller with 12 zones. So if we go over the average amount, it shuts the zone off because it's anticipated that there's a leak. Those still cost money, but you can put them in. You know, putting all new plants in or mulching takes a lot more time and money and all new
Do
things.
you have an issue right now with your PRV, the pressure reducer?
No, because we put a new pressure reducer in, but
Did you do it yourself?
no, we had a plumber come out
Okay,
and he's the one that figured it out. But those were really important things that
Right.
we knew we had a pressure reducer put in when we
Yeah.
bought the house, but we didn't realize they broke.
Yeah.
That you had to monitor it. So
Yeah.
but the city of Billings their system monitors, and so when people are using an above average amount of water, it alerts them. Apparently it creates a lot of errors, but anyway. And if people have a leak for 1 month, they reduce the bill. They negotiate with them and reduce the bill. They won't do it multiple months. But somehow, I mean, I don't believe she used that much water, not based on her August use.
no,
So something's wrong. So, and her husband's a landscape installer, so he knows how to put in a sprinkler system. So something's wrong somewhere.
They just put in a bunch of sod.
Oh, so
Within the last
he's watering it a lot.
Within the last month, they put in a bunch of sod.
You gotta water it a lot.
Yeah.
but what you bring up, Adam, is a good idea.
Yeah.
That
Those are-
idea of how to reduce, put in the pressure reducing valve, because that really is not
It-
discomforting in it, but it can seriously reduce the water consumption.
And if you put in a more modern controller.
Yeah.
It shuts off automatically with wind, it shuts off automatically with rain. And it shuts off the system if you've got, it goes above your predicted amount.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a little bit tricky to get in, but it's really valuable for people.
Okay, I'm sorry, I took too long time there.
Let's continue on.
Yeah, continue on here, and as you know, unfortunately, we had that interruption last meeting about emergency call. So I just want to report to you that from May 15th to June 26th, we had 29 after hours call. And there's not a separate phone number. You just dial our regular number and it rolls over. And out of those calls, 100% were answered. So I just want to make sure, because emergency calls are important to us. And we do not want to find out that we have an issue for not answering the phone. Okay, and we want to make sure the board members know that we're trying to do our job. Be responsive and alert, just like the fire department. Right, Josh? We have no issues. And we have no complaint about not showing up. Okay? New computers. We bought 3 new Dell computers to replacing mainly John's because it shut down on us, and 2 others. And our computer guru had recommended, Morris and Mary's Systems had recommended us to replace this computer back in February. So they were overdue, and they will have the new operating system, and including in the price, it was $6,500 is to installation and bring up the software and transfer the computer, because that can be very cumbersome and cause all sorts of delay, not just for us, but screw up the customer too.
So the $6,500 is all 3 computers, not each.
That's 3. Yep.
Right.
Thank you, President. Does that go into a capital improvement or does that come out of office budget fund?
Well, computers are depreciated, I believe, historically 3 years, I think it is. Pipes 50.
So does that need a budget amendment then to get, because it's not gonna look right, just like when we bought the new printer last year.
Yeah,
A copier for $10,000, it just blew the budget for the office.
yes,
And that's not right, because you can't look at the budget for the office and go, oh man, that really jumps, and now I need more next year. It's because that's a capital improvement,
right,
and
correct.
so that needs a budget amendment to pay for that, so are we gonna do the same thing with these computers?
We do have the new capital budget approved for this year. And I think there might be enough in there to cover that. But as you know, a budget is a guideline, you know, this is what we think it's gonna be. And when a computer breaks down, and they do break, it's not like in the old days, they last a long time. Now they have hiccups. And when they do, we have to replace them. So, but the budget's a guideline, and we try to stick to it, and I think we're okay.
Right now, these 3 computers, were they bought in June? Or were they bought here in July? Are they going on last year's?
They have not been delivered yet.
You can see they haven't been delivered yet, but he just signed the quote. That was in the packet. You can see
I think it was last week.
it was last week. Yeah, we were trying to do the sign.
Have they been paid for?
Coming years, but-
Excuse me?
Have they been paid for yet?
Not yet.
No,
Well, then they'll be fine in this year's budget.
and all of these things, I checked with Doug, so if you have a problem, talk to your leader.
Where's that at?
No, but supposedly everybody was aware of this back in February, that it was a needs for it, and it was a complete report. I can send you that.
We weren't informed.
Yeah,
No, I really didn't know either.
We didn't
That's
think
when
it was gonna
everything-
crap out either, so.
yeah. On their report is the pipeline assessment. And in the survey, they look back a couple of years, we have some 532,000 feet full. 62% of those pipes are less than 12 inches. 38% are above 12 inches. And it's the big one that we're concerned about. Because more people obviously are depending on it. Not only that, but they're generally older too. So we talked to, and Frank, you gave me Mike Hughes, so I had a long talk with him, nice talk. And usually what they do, they shoot 500 to 700 feet. Half a mile a day maximum. And it would cost about $20,000 per mile to do this, to assess it. So how do you start this? The way you start it is a map. Where's the pipe going from and here? And the quality, the type of pipe, they don't do PVC. But what type of pipe and the age of it. So we do have an inventory. Josh and I talked to Interstate Engineering. They have all the pipe data that we need. I also thought that the city might have some experience. So I talked to Louis Engler, the water quality superintendent at the city, and he said they use Pure Technology. Pure Technology is a Xylem company. Xylem is a conglomerate that owns Light and Ghost Pump, and it's a big company. And this Pure Technology is a smaller, I believe, Canadian-based. And they had very good result for the shorter section of very large pipe. Large pipe costs a lot of money to replace, and they wanted to assess the situation, and they do a pretty good job. And this company is well respected. They've done over 25,000 miles of pipes. In general, when you do this, the spin-off benefit from this is also leak detection. They will be able to tell you the leak. And that's the normal reason why people hire these outfits. Our reason is to determine the age. That's the primary, not the secondary. And we do not have a leak detection based on our numbers and figures. Our leak is less than 5%. So, any question on that? So,
Are you gonna enter a contract?
so the first thing we have to do is on us, because I asked them what we need a map. Where's the pipe? And what type pipe is, so we do have an inventory, not here, but we need that. And we need a map. And figuring out the high risk and nail it down. And I would assume that the 12-inch lines and larger, which is 38%, would be the first target. And Josh knows more about the age. And it seemed to me that Main Street is a very busy street, but we might have most of the problem there, right? They're the oldest pipe.
Some of the original
So,
Tom got. Comment.
Doug brought up a real good point here, a couple of days ago, is that the city is putting in these 50-inch stormwater drainage systems here and there and everywhere. We want to know what their schedule is. They really never tell us what they're doing until it's afterwards. You want in on this deal? But if we can get a heads up on this, we can replace this pipe. Not at half the cost, but less than half the cost. So we pigtail on their effort. And I think that the city would welcome that. Why? We're talking about this consolidation cost. I mean, this is a no-brainer. Let's work together. So we'll find out what the next dig is. And they already awarded one contract last week. 4 weeks late, correct?
No, I've been awarded
Monday, that meeting on Monday there, right?
Right, but tentatively, yeah. So, yes.
You mentioned this Pure Technology. Do they have a method for testing the PVC?
I think that's a different technology, and that is not what I hear. People have a lot less issues with the PVC pipe. And I belong to the AWWA, and I think we do too. Every year they do a survey assessment of what are the issues. And the aging infrastructure and the pipe is part of the top. So there are oodles of articles on this, and we'll study it further. But in the meanwhile, for us to begin, we need the map and we need the type pipe, how old it is. And I look at the depreciation schedule, but it doesn't identify the use, the brand of pipe and what is, only the cost of the pipe. Unfortunately, the accountant doesn't care what size, type of pipe you use.
Right. It was all the AC pipe and all the non-AC pipe.
Right,
All this.
but doesn't show the age of this stuff.
We're not really with the.
Yeah, there's down someplace else that talks about the age, so.
We have that map, right?
Yeah.
So, we talked to Interstate yesterday about that, and in the assessment that PR, part of that will be included there, correct? So, the pipe in the ground, supposedly we know where they are, we're in the pipe business, sometimes these drawings need to be perhaps updated. So anyway, that's where we are on that.
Frank,
Thank you. Are you planning on running all this study through interstate engineering? Or are you going to take off of it and then take the results? They can have the results if they want, but if that interstate's gonna do, it's gonna cost us double.
Right. I asked these firms, how do we start this? Number one, well, we need a map. We need to know what's in the ground. So we need to do that. And we have most of that in, I think interstate's involvement would be very limited. And we'll find out, because we need to go to the board. Some engineering firm might have to get involved in it. But these people will present a complete report, condition on the pipe and the leak. And I asked what the end result is, and there is no engineer. The engineering might follow. And interstate or somebody else might get involved, but the level of engineering involved in this is minimal. We have to get the map and the data showing where the pipes are. And Josh and I, we have to figure out, we have to roll the dice. Where do we start?
Is this pure, are they cheaper than?
I don't know.
Logic?
The only reason why I asked, I went to Lewis because I heard that Mike lost out to this company with the city when they did this job a few years ago. And I figure the city knows what they're doing, and they were happy with the
Well,
result.
we can't know too much because we still haven't got a bill for May and June. So you're giving them way more credit than they got coming, maybe.
Yeah,
The only reason I asked what they did PVC pipe is the city claims they have absolutely no AC. So we must assume the majority of the city is AC until you get to the big pipe. Which I think is something besides PVC, I'm not an expert.
well,
We have
depending
so
on where
much
you are in the
AC.
country, I've seen some very big plastic pipes.
Yes. But we have so much AC by the maps we've seen, and it's so old. No AC pipe was put in after 1980. 47% of the pipe is AC, that tells me we have a lot of old AC.
Well, perhaps you can help us find out where it is. Because we assume that anything around Main Street would be the old stuff, larger. Not on both sides, but on the west side, Josh, of the street. And it's at a 12-inch going up there.
That's stuff to iron.
Duckler.
Main Street Stockton.
So anyway, that's our thinking, and we'll get. In both cases, we need the map and the data when we have it, and you would think that's obvious, don't you know? No, we don't.
Did you check with any AI companies?
Artificial
Yeah.
intelligence. I know that information is available. And,
Because the gal we had come here,
yeah,
she says that they go in before the people come in and do the testing, they tell them where they should look for problem, right? So, I mean,
it's worth exploring. You know that would.
bring somebody from
Voda.
VODA, from VODA, and then there's also a Fracta. But,
Her card is sitting in there by that big brand in your office.
and we got her name from Mike Usey.
Oh, really? Okay. So you know, okay. Very good.
then one piece on district insurance.
So the insurance is now in effect. And our bill went from 94 to renewal of 99.95, 6.2% increase. Mainly because of the commercial policy, 7.2, while the directors and officers stayed the same at 13.7. Now, you had a, what was it, Tom, you had a question about the hail. And I said, what the hail is that? So that's covered, 2% of the building value.
That's the deductible.
That's the deductible.
Yeah. And that's like with everything else in that policy, so it is covered.
But expensive.
Yeah. For sure, the building. So, it is in effect, and yesterday the city asked, Billings asked us to name them on liability. They have a requirement of $1 million. So we gave them a right, we just send it in to return. That's normal standard procedure.
Why does the city hate this?
Well, let's say we poison a few people up the street here because they drank out of the fountain. Well, we're in the water company. A lawyer will find out real quick. It's from felony city. So in line of commerce, usually that's where a good lawyer goes. Line of commerce. Yeah. So that's normal, and I'm pretty sure they did the same thing last year. So that's done.
We have a motion to approve the manager's report.
Well, can we,
Okay, I can ask a question.
You can ask questions, yeah.
Census was put on the business.
Yeah, we're not quite there.
You were gonna contact them, give us a report. Give us that now, or when you get to old business on the.
We get out of the manager's report, that's the next thing. Okay.
so I do have a question. So Bo, when we talked about the data at the work session for responding to emergency calls, what I thought we were gonna get was a full year's data and evidence of what the response was. The fact that for 1 month, they answered every call doesn't mean that calls weren't missed.
Since it's from early May to June,
Right.
so it's 2 months.
But still, I'd like to see the full year, and because we're trying to work out the vehicle policy. During those. And I didn't get exactly the number of calls that you got, 29.
Yeah.
How many of those required 1 vehicle, 2 vehicle, 3 vehicles, 6 vehicles to respond to?
We're starting to get into the day-to-day business and
But we,
fortunately not be involved in that at all.
yeah, but we're trying to come up with a vehicle policy and determine whether or not people need to pay. Need to pay taxes, and we don't know that unless we know how many times are people actually responding to calls with their trucks in the middle of the night. And how many of the trucks are responding. We do need to
I
know.
don't think we have that report. We can research going forward. We can do all sorts of things. So you let me know what you like to have done and we'll do it. I mean, we work at the
Listen,
pressure of the board.
That's what I'd
So
like.
you tell me in detail what you want and you will have it.
So, Mr. Chairman, so the number of vehicles responding to any particular call out, it's not been tracked.
It was so,
Historically,
they don't all follow up with a work order, okay? Out of those 29, perhaps half of them, or I don't know how many, result in a work order where they're going to address replacing something. So, I don't know that.
It's not always our stuff that they're responding to. It's not always somebody's calling saying, hey, my basement's flooding, get here now. It's emergency locates where at 3 o'clock in the morning, a drunk runs in to a power pole and breaks it, so we gotta go out and locate where our utility is so that Northwest Pipe or Northwest can drill a new pole or a gas line. The calls are varied. It's not always specifically water or our utility related, but
One of the call was actually city related.
some of them could be the SCADA calling saying, hey, we got high discharge pressure at whatever pump station, or lost signal a lot, you know, so if we gotta have a guy come down and see what's going on at what pump station. It's not necessarily always an emergency leak. There's varying degrees of calls.
But is there a tracking system for each call or no?
Well, they write it down on their time sheet because they get paid overtime for their call.
And how long do you retain the time sheets?
I don't know how many years we've got.
We have to retain them for audit purpose for at least a year.
Yep.
But then not all of those phone calls result in a work order. That's what I understand.
Not all of them, no.
So, I mean, we can go through all the work orders and see which one is actually recycled. It's not gonna be accurate, but going forward, if you let us know exactly what you're looking for, we can get the information. We'll set up a
Okay.
procedure.
I can send it to you, but I feel like I've been clear, but I'll try again.
No, you were not clear about
Okay.
that you
Well,
wanted.
always better to put it in writing. Because I think when I was working, there's like,
Yeah.
if it's not written, it didn't
It'd be
happen.
helpful if we recorded the work sessions and have minutes from them.
Correct, Espen?
Well, I don't know how many man hours you wanted to devote to going through, you know, a year's worth of previous time sheets, but I do think it would be in terms of establishing a policy with respect to the vehicle use, it might be relatively simple to establish a tracking policy when more than one vehicle is called out. Because a block would only have one vehicle going on for call outs, the person that's got the phone. And the rest don't take them home, so if perhaps we need to send the vehicles home with everybody, but I don't know that the data shows that at this point. But we could start tracking it.
That's, your call outs are by account number. They have a specific count number when they're called out. Correct?
No, not necessarily,
What do they
Depending-
put
well,
up
if
for time
it's-
ticket?
depending on what it is. If it's an emergency locates and it's just going to whatever address or whatever intersection or whatever.
Is there a number for emergency locate?
There's
An
a ticket
account.
number for the locates, yeah.
No, isn't there an accounting number?
As far as, well, yeah, because we pay that ELM, that's a monthly payment, yeah.
So if you would go to the accounting system, you should be able to pull those down as well as some of the other ones.
It's all lumped in, the amount, the tickets just get lumped into, we get however many tickets a month and they're, what, $1.75 or something like that a ticket. So it's that times however many tickets and that's what we pay ELM. No,
But if you tell us the end result, what is it you're looking for? We see.
I want to see, do we have data that suggests 6 vehicles are showing up for emergency calls on a regular basis? Because if we don't, then there's a tax liability to the people that are taking vehicles home, and there's certainly a huge cost to the ratepayers who are paying for the gas and the vehicle replacement. So I don't know, so at this point, you can just say, well, they have to be available to respond, but do they? Do we ever, because if there's a break, we hire Western Municipal.
No.
very often. Well, okay, but
Only on
What-
Main Street.
what is the evidence that we're calling multiple people out in the middle of the night on a regular basis that justifies that many people driving vehicles?
It seemed to me this is getting late here. That what you want is one person takes one car home for emergency. The rest of the trucks stay here.
What I
That's-
wanna see is there a reason for people taking trucks home? Do we have data that supports that?
And
We,
we're off
we
topic.
have no evidence.
We can research and get that data. And if you want to take an action later, but there's nothing like facts, you know. Where are we driving after hours? We can find that out, but we do not have the data now. Reliable data. We know how many tickets we had after hours, how many phone calls. But did one of those tickets result in one car, no car, or all six? I don't think we have the data to, it would be pure guesswork on our part.
But you
Director,
should have the data.
My question is, what is your procedure for call outs? You know, you have one person on call out. Well, is that one person responsible to call the second vehicle out? If he needs more help, what is your procedure for call outs? Maybe that would help understand this.
That's pretty much what it is. If it's something that's a big main break, or if it's simple as going to shut somebody's curb stop off because their basement's flooding, one guy can handle that. But if you get that call at 3 o'clock in the morning that the main in front of the first interstate let loose, we had 3 people over there trying to shut down valves and get it shut down so that we were limiting damage and water loss.
So the on-call
So
person.
the on-call guy gets there and goes, I need some help.
Needs some help, then he
So he
calls.
starts calling, waking people up.
Okay.
And sometimes all of them, all man on deck.
Mhm.
And we have a little leakage or no water in the lawn. Go take a look at it. Yeah, we gotta shut off the valve.
So they don't all
The
get called.
valve snaps, the gate valve, so we have to pull in other people to shut off down. So we had like four guys, 5 guys on this job that was supposed to be very simple. But those cases happen.
So if, say, you got called out and you get another call that somebody else has something going on, you would call a second person to respond to that second call?
Depending
Is
on,
that,
it's totally situational. If I can get away from where I'm at to go respond to that, or if it's more emergent, and I have to get over there.
then you call
You got
somebody else?
triage it, right?
So,
And depending on,
so it's kind of the on-call person makes that decision to call the second or
if they
third,
need the help or not.
need the help. Okay,
And you know, in our case, we had one the last couple of days, where we try to locate some pipe to install the fires. So if we couldn't isolate that, we had to call the insurance company and the whole string of things. And that exposes our operation. So once we do a surgery and things happen, it has to be solved right there and then. And Josh got involved running to the supply, getting a 4-inch gate valve, and I mean, it's just on now time. So it's not a question of calling in 1 truck or 2 trucks. The backhoe, everything was out. Everybody right there to take care of the situation. And I think part of the result there might have been, there was a faulty drawing, you know, the architect has something. And our map clearly shows this, and the connection is not there. So there's a whole array of things. But the key thing here is that we have to be mobile enough to be there and fix it on that time. It's not, we'll do it tomorrow morning first, no. It has to be done right away.
Right. I'd like to make a motion to approve the manager's report so we can move on to old business.
We move in second now. We approve the manager's report, all in favor? please, I'll be saying that.
Aye.
When did we deal with the interstate engineers report?
Remember, it went over to old business.
Those are the bills, but there's an interstate engineering report. So does that come under old business or the manager's report? Because we didn't address it.
I didn't see it at all.
It's the
Yeah,
monthly
the monthly
update.
report is in there.
Oh,
It's more, I guess, informational to
more for information.
let you know what they're up to. Cause that's what you guys want us to.
Well, I have some real concerns with their report. So where do you want me to bring those concerns in?
New business.
Okay.
Okay, we'll start the old business with unpaid bills, because we need to get through those. First one is invoice number 54598.
That one, the original ones.
That
No,
we,
that's a new one.
No, that's the new one. Where's the 5 3s?
yeah, that was 98 was sent in.
Okay, I just looked. Chairman,
Yes, thank you, Director.
Chairman, I just looked at, this has 54598 and, Lowell Petra has billed for 2 hours at 2:30 and she'll cut and bill for it.
It's also got an adjustment of minus $550.
On the first page.
Crowd subtracted the drive time.
Way at the bottom, additional.
Is this a bill replacing one of those 53590s?
No, because this is the one that came in after our meeting, is it?
Yeah, this came in.
Dated June 14th, right on the top of the first page.
I know, but there was one that we were told came in after the meeting.
You wanna bulk these together? Or do you wanna hit each one separately? Right,
Thank you, Chair. Bo, you were working with them on it and.
Yep.
Are you getting everything cleared up? You're satisfied with what they're doing and,
It's a good question. So, Josh and I was up there yesterday. As a follow-up meeting to an earlier meeting that I had. Because I told them that these bills, month of June, we had $60,000 worth of bill. And I'm not so sure that our board realized what these bills are they can associate with this project 28 and 29. So I asked them to graphically show the timeline. Now, we have the original proposal here to project 28 and that was signed back 17 November 2022. So there is a in the back, I don't know if you have a copy of this. I highly recommend you read it because there's a couple of lines that are good reading. But they have a chart like this. And you can see it, but it's engineering hours. Now, we're not interested in engineering hours, we're engineering timeline, milestones. When this is supposed to be completed and this is supposed to, and we release the payment, right? Right. We release the payment when we have milestone number 2. Yeah, this is complete, everybody, okay? Right now, this is a very convenient thing for them because they can calculate their income on the hours. What is it they sell? Hours. What is it we buy? We buy a project, okay? So you look at this whole thing and I count 650,000. So somebody authorized the $650,000 2 years ago. So we're paying for it. And I try to make sense out of it. And fortunately enough, we're in the tail end of it. Some of it has been done. And we have a graphic bar chart showing what has been done in time of project, not the cost or project completion, but and unfortunately with the screen here, I can't show you this stuff, but I think we should have like 2 screens showing some of these graphs, because graphs don't lie, and it's easy to understand rather than me to sit here and explain this. So we are getting to the bottom of this. And when it comes to project 28, what's really holding it up right now is our meeting with the city. I've talked to Louis about this connection. And that was the main portion of our task order 28, was to get the water to that area. So the water, amount of water and the water pressure. And I have some serious doubt that it can be done. But we need to verify, trust, but verify. You remember that guy? So we trust everybody involved in this project, but you don't pay over $1 million to have this thing completed and then find out that we're pumping more water into their district than we're taking out. And that's the reason for those DCBs, the double check valves. Because our pressure right now, Josh, our pressure is probably higher than on their side. I mean, it's 80, 90 PSI out there.
Depending on time of day.
Yeah, but to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So we need backflow prevention. So after that has been concluded, and I know the city, they have been busy, but we reconfirmed that this meeting will take place. Only the technical component, the other, who's gonna maintain the meter, read the meter, who's gonna do all that, so who's gonna redo the, no. Let's start technically, is this feasible or not? And we need to prove that and then go to the next step. So we have not done that, and once that is done, project 28.
Long story short,
Kibosh.
yes, the work they did, while you don't see, you're not holding a finished product. There's still a lot of, it's preliminary stuff that has to be done. A lot of this task order 28, and that got blown up a lot larger than originally anticipated. So that preliminary PER was, there was a lot more alternatives, so there took a lot more stuff to go into it. So yeah, the work that they've done, it's justifiable for time.
I thought we were talking about interstate engineering bill invoice 54598.
We were,
And nowhere on it is it discussing task order 28. This is an invoice of miscellaneous engineering services, meetings and correspondence with new GM and assistant. Discuss ongoing project and review existing systems operation. Hydraulic model of Hawthorne. Prepare engineers monthly report, the report Pam Ellison had reference to. Prepare GIS system management and update. This bill has nothing to do with 28. Is everybody okay that we pay this bill for these services rendered? I move we pay this bill.
do I hear a second?
Well, I asked Brad, hey, come on, we're working on task order 28, can you at least put that on the bill?
They're separated.
So now, they are doing that. I mean, there was,
This bill has a
And-
$550 deduction from what was itemized. I think Interstate Engineer has done a good job of saying what they did, billing us for the time for the work they did, and we need to pay it.
There's a second on that.
I'll second it.
Second by Greg. Discussion, board members, Tom.
This bill is dated June 14th. It says interest of 1.5% per month will be applied to invoices over 60 days old. It is over 30 days now. By next month, it'll be over 60 days. We need these bills paid to keep the reputation of the district up. But they keep the credit rating of the district up. This district talks about borrowing money and getting grants. You can't do either with this poor credit rating.
And all this stuff was discussed at
And,
the work session. Any other discussion on this bill? Yeah,
The only thing, I will vote no, and it's because we asked at the work session that these bills be included in the agenda packet and available. I don't want to get a packet at the meeting that I'm then expected to read through frantically while Tom is flipping through pages and irritated. I want to have time to review it.
It was in a weekly invoice to you 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
You've had weeks to
Okay.
discuss it.
Okay. So,
calm down here, guys.
so we asked to have it in the packet. It's not in the packet. It isn't, that's what's
Understand, I
legally
understand
required.
where
So
you're at.
that's my no vote.
All in favor of approving invoice to pay invoice number 54598, please signify by saying aye. Opposed,
No.
motion passes. And will that be able to be paid so that's,
Yeah, we have 3 more, we have plus 2 more
yeah,
that aren't here.
this is the one that will be over the 30 days. That's why I say that. Okay,
Invoice 54608, I move we pay the invoice.
then move, do I have a second? Greg, a seconded it. Discussion.
Which invoice number from?
4608.
This is a bill for $4,085. Again, it has nothing to do with task order 22. It is the start of mixers and stuff like this for Hilltop and Oxbow, which is a part of our capital improvement plan. It is engineering work, pre-engineering work for a pre-project.
And part of this will be capitalized too.
Yes.
So it's not like an expense.
Any other discussion on invoice number 54608? Not all in favor of approval to pay invoice number 54608, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
No.
Okay, motion passes.
I move for approval of interstate engineering invoice 54609 in the amount of $3,495. This is on task order 29, which is the PIR, which is necessary to get any grants or anything like that.
Is there a second?
Second.
Director Uffenbach, discussion. We have seen this report. Seeing no discussion, all in favor of approval for 54609, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Nay.
Motion has passed.
I move for approval of interstate engineering invoice 54610 in the amount of $35,005.
There's a second on that.
Second.
Second.
That's not the full end.
It's actually 46,000.
Right.
$662.
Yeah. 45,662.
Yes, you're right, I'm sorry.
I have a question.
Director Esposito.
What is the status of, since this relates to task order 28, what is the status of the invoices 53590 and 53591? Are they paid or unpaid?
These are all unpaid.
No, I asked about the other two and I stated the numbers. Are 53590 and 53591 paid or not?
There was 2 that were paid, and I think one of them is in the packet here.
590 is in the packet.
Oh, 950, 950.
Yeah, 53950. That was for 11,141.78.
So it's one other from, I think that was April, I'm not sure.
Yes, both the 53950, 53951 were both dated April 13th.
But yeah, that's my, are those paid or not? Okay.
I don't know. I
They
think
were
no,
voted not
no.
to pay it the last meeting.
I
talked to
remember
Susie
that,
today.
I'm asking what the status is. They should be here in this list of unpaid bills. If they're not paid.
No, I believe they're paid. One is shown here, but the other ones, I think Susan showed me that today before the meeting. Because I wanted to know which one I've been told.
But we didn't authorize.
I don't think they were paid.
And we asked for an itemized billings. The one that's in the packet is not itemized.
I thought they were gonna be voted on tonight,
Yeah,
after you talked to them. Can you call her and find out whether they've been voted or not? Since nobody here knows it. If we're worried about bills that are 60 days behind, we should worry about ones that are 90 days behind.
You have a comment, Tom?
No, I mean, last month, both those two invoices were voted by the board to be not paid. If they're paid, they've been paid in direct conflict to board direction.
We gave Bo permission to negotiate with them and
We didn't give him permission to pay him. The vote was not to pay.
I'm not so sure about that.
Well, I normally don't pay any bills, okay, I know the drill. Okay. But in the future, what I recommend you guys do is we talk about these bills every board meeting to know that. So this is a list of the order of the original task order 28, and it's divided into activities that give you 115,000. That's completed. You paid 115,000. Task order 200. You go down the list. So you have a timeline on the project and milestones that are agreed up front when the payment. It's like you build a house. You build the foundation. You don't pay the guy for the new roof if the foundation is not in. So it's a step approach, and it's got to be agreed on what those milestones are. And we're kind of go backwards here, trying to figure out what the bill belongs to.
Right.
And they do mention what component, in some cases, what sub task order belongs to. And that try to make sense of some of this stuff, because some of it's done before others, et cetera, et cetera. And that is not the way to run a business. You proper planning prevent poor performance. What is it gonna do? What happened? What was the difference? What was the deviation? And then you agree on a solution and you move to the next task. You don't work on all 5 tasks at the same time. End result is that nobody was, and there's mistrust, not only by you, but trust me, Interstate is not happy about this either. Because they know that the ultimate decision of whatever we do with them belongs to the board, not us. That's not good for us. It's not good for Josh and me. So,
Well,
we got a plan. We got a plan.
Frank,
you bet.
Okay, I think I would fault all of this because we got those couple bills from the state engineering. And one of them was where they got the report from the AC pipe that we sent in and billed us for it, but couldn't tell us what we got out of it.
Right.
And then the other one was when we called that special meeting and they sent 3 people here when they weren't even really involved in it. And so then we asked for an itemized statement, and all of a sudden I'm looking through it and I'm seeing we're paying one engineer 2 hours at $230 an hour windshield time from Belfry.
Right.
And that was it twice a month, billed to the Heights Water District, and if I was wrong about that, I'm just gonna still stay wrong because they were screwing us. And so something had to be done, and you just don't do that, and it amounted to $1,017, I believe, that month, we were overbilled, and we shouldn't have been overbilled. And if they would have never itemized it, we would have never knew it, and we just kept paying that amount of money.
I'll go with Jeff next and then Tom.
Well, my concern is, I work with bookkeeping software
Yeah.
and I can prepare statements.
Yeah.
And they will list the unpaid bills.
Yeah.
And I have never seen that from them. And, you know, here we're talking about bills that are 90 days old. So, you know, if we had a statement, we'd have a list of all their open invoices, and we could then look at, okay, which ones do we need to get cleaned up and where are we? And I wouldn't have had to send Josh out there to make a phone call. So interstate engineering is not a babe in the woods.
Yeah.
And, you know, and some of this is frankly, I think lays at their feet. You know,
Yeah.
failure to give us a good itemized bill with backup has been their practice. You know, it was allowed by a lot of previous managements, but it's bad practice. It's bad business practice. Having, not tracking, not having pay on performance deadlines in terms of invoices for us has been allowed, but it's bad practice, and I'm glad we're working toward changing that. I don't know that, you know, if you feel it's in the best interest of the district that, you know, we pause these task orders till you can get targets established for them that you're confident that they understand. and
Oh, they will.
Can respond to, I mean, please suggest that to us. And let's do it. We want to give you the tools
Right.
so you can get them to shape up.
Right.
Because from my perspective, they need shape up.
Right, so they implemented this new software, Microsoft software to track the, I thought. In my business, I had all this stuff, so you can drill down each project, what was going on, and they don't have it. Say, you gotta have this for your own sake, but to get a credibility with us. So, the oversight, but unfortunately, this project, the resolution 28 was at least 11 pages. And there's a little more to it, but there is something called customer beware, you know. And we just have to be smarter. And unfortunately, when I dug into some of this stuff, it just didn't make any sense, you know, because they were working a little bit on sub task order 100, a little bit on task order 4 and 5. And so how do you keep track of the time schedule? But then not alone of the billing. So I sent them this spreadsheet, you gotta fill in the timelines here. And so they came up with a new software and we looked at it yesterday. I'm not impressed, but it's improvement. So we're going to get the same software. It's gonna cost like $30 a month. So we can trace our own projects up there at China. Because we need accountability. We might have money, but we're not gonna spend it freely on just things. And they know exactly how much money we have. Guess what? They will bill accordingly. So we gotta put stuff on them. You know, don't make any notes.
With respect to this invoice 54610, $45,662.50.
Yeah,
You have the task order 28. Have you reviewed this invoice against the task order? Are you satisfied with these legitimate charges as per the task order?
and that's what I'm saying. Task order 100 and 200, okay? Task order is primarily engineering report. And it talks about the hydraulic modeling, archaeological investigation of the wetland. Subtask 200 is planning and funding coordination, the SRF loan application assistance. By the way, for the Northwest transmission line, we have supposedly the funding, the SRF funding in place. But this is what I'm saying, if we didn't set up milestone, how are you gonna check this? How are you gonna check all this stuff, the invoices? So it's very, very difficult for me to justify all this stuff.
Would you,
So we should be paying this bill, or is it a reason?
I think we should try to terminate task order 28 as fast as possible. And then what hangs out is the meeting with the city. We have to confirm the technical aspect of this job. And they made these drawings and everything else. It's a German bunker with a lot of useless equipment in there. This is what interstate, and I bet you guys would have approved it. You know, because, you know, hey, looks like a drawing, it was an engineer, it's stamped. You wouldn't question them, that hydraulically, does this make sense or not? Okay, that's why you're hiring me. I gotta provide something. I might be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But I cannot let you guys do this. So we gotta put a stop on task order 28. Task order 28 is cancer. Okay, go ahead, Tom.
If we stop task order 28, there will be no second connection with the city. There will be no Inverness pump station going, because that is task order 28. We have to do something for the low pressure in the Northwest region. And that's task order 28. By stopping task order 28, we stop all the low pressure. Should we be paying this bill, $45,662.50, in your opinion, as general manager of the district? That's my question.
Well, based on the commitment, based on the schedule of all the tasks. So if you go reread it, and I made a schedule like this, the sub task 100, it's 115,000. Sub total of 251,000. So where are they? Well, they're all over the place here.
Well, on here, it says task order 100 has a limit of 167,000. And paying this bill will leave $2,153 in that order.
Right.
Should we be paying it or not?
Well, we do have this contract that goes back 2 years, and they're following the outline. And based on their work, their documentation, it's put into his monthly report. He reports on it. It is up for us to say, oh yeah, this was done, this was not done. And thank you, John. So to me, it's a question of living up to the contract, and we are working on it. And once again, following this meeting with the city of Lewis to make sure that he has the water pressure and the flow that we require based on our specification. But once that's determined, we can put it into task order 28.
We do paying this bill.
I just explained, yes, we have to live up to our obligation. And, you know, I've seen this before at this meeting, is that somebody signed a resolution and signed a document, and we renege on it 2 generations of board of directors later. We can't do that. When you get elected on the board, you own that resolution. We have to live up to it. So is it my fault? I can only help you be right, and I work at your pleasure. And I try to do what I can to resolve the situation, but the way it's going 2 years later, it's becoming a cancer. So you have to put the stop, you have to either connect to the city or doing the transmission line. And we will know that following the meeting with the city, if they have the water supply and the pressure that we require.
So according to what the invoice here says, we have roughly $37,000, 36 some change $1,000 left on this, on these two task orders, task 200 and task 100.
Yeah,
How many other task numbers fall under 28?
Six.
6 or 7?
It's-
Are the rest of them complete?
I would put a stop. Yeah, do a filter.
Some are-
Well, right. Okay, right now, Josh and I, like I said, had a meeting yesterday. We're not working on anything on task order 28. Okay, so until we get the reading from the city. No work is necessary.
You're doing the Inverness pump station, right?
Yeah,
That's all our stuff.
that's internal and
But we need Interstate to do the hydraulic modeling.
They did the modeling,
it's all done.
so
And we have done some testing and it looks better than exceeds our forecast.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes. Yes,
point of order. Do we have a motion on the floor at this
we
point?
do.
And what is the motion?
To pay invoice 54610.
Have we discussed it to death? We have voted on
I
it
think
this
it
morning.
died twice and buried 3 times. There was a second on it, correct? All in favor of paying 54610, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
motion passed.
Now, can Josh give us, Mr. Chairman, can we find out what the status of 53591 and 53590 are? Before we proceed to the census.
okay, 53951, that top one. Susie paid, she misread a minute. Above it, it says pay, and there's one that says approve, like, it just, she misread it, so she paid that one,
In full?
yes. And then the 53950 is still to be paid.
Mr. Chairman,
Director, that's right.
so which one is unpaid?
5-0.
53950.
Okay, I move that we pay 53950.
Second.
But withhold, I'm not done yet. But withhold $470 that was improperly paid on 53951, in my opinion, for the Mr. Cutshaw's mileage from Belfry to Billings, not mileage, but time. Which they agreed not to charge us for, and they could have rendered us a new bill for. And I am deducting further another $460 for this, for driving from Belfry to Billings and back. That was on 53950. So that would be 470 plus 460. And so $11,141.78 less $930. With the request to Interstate Engineering that they provide a statement each month with every, when they'll send us invoices.
You're talking like this.
I'd like to add to that motion that, Director has been made and,
Hasn't been seconded yet, but
okay, I'll second that, and then I'd like to add to it.
Sure.
And he's also got a $587 charge. Right, from and to Billings office. And back. He just didn't put Belfry in there.
Well, Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
Frank, I looked at that charge, Frank, and it's on the same date as, it's April 2 and April 2. So,
It doesn't take 2.5 hours to drive from their office to Billings Heights office. So so I would take the 2 hours off of there and just put the half hour that it took to drive from their office to the Heights for that meeting. And I don't think that was in the original bill. When they sent it out.
So what is the motion then?
I say we hold off. We've got 470 there, seeing this bill originally, I think had 460 on it too.
But we're withholding 930 as it stands right now.
No, yeah, and I want to add on that other one, at least a 235 or 230, either one times 2. 460 times 3, or 460 times 2 plus 470.
Now my head is spinning.
okay, so the net impact to his amendment. That would be to raise the deduction to 1390. I'll take that as a friendly amendment.
Is there a second to that amendment?
The second is in order.
Well, at the last meeting, Bill told us that he preferred to have to work with Interstate Engineering and get the bill corrected. Because we already have a problem where we directed that the bill not be paid, they paid it anyway. If we direct that you withdraw the 1390 and then you pay it anyway, we're in a mess. I'd rather have a corrected bill with the 1390.
Right.
Removed.
I went through these bill with him, and wherever I saw his name and drive, I made it perfectly clear to that we are not gonna pay full time for anybody sitting in the company car, going to and from the client's office. We're never gonna pay for that.
And obviously,
That's part of your expense, getting your people to our site.
Yeah.
It can't be.
Right.
So I already talked to him about it, and this bill goes back from April. So he's aware of that. So it's not gonna be a surprise to him to correct this bill. But why he hasn't done it, I don't know. But I have had meetings with him in his office about this.
I will, it's my gut instinct that they failed to prepare statements. So they're losing track of their own cash flow at this point. So, they need to get their bookkeeping cleaned up. And we need to help them. So that would be my motion, the
1390 is,
14178 minus 1390. And they can prepare a statement if they prepare statements in the future and it's still pending, then we can. They
Basically,
write it off, and they can come back and claim it, and then we can tell them what to do.
Right. All in favor? Tom?
I don't know what's being deducted. I'm trying to follow.
1,390.
I know, but I don't know what it is.
Oh,
On 5.9. The 53951, you're deducting $470. What else on that bill are you deducting? What line? I don't have another line for $460 on that bill, so
that's it. Well, there's
So,
$470
next one right below it.
below it. There's another 470 coming out of that. Based
there's
upon,
one 470, then there's a 587,
Yeah.
and then there's 235.
but
And that's
that,
a drive 2 Billings and back. So you don't drive 2 Billings and back unless you're coming from your home in Belfry.
So are you deducting the 587.50?
No, because he's charging us a half an hour to get from his office to Wicks Lane for that April 2nd meeting.
So you're only deducting $460 of the 587.50. Or 60, not 470.
correct.
You know, it's hard to tell because it's 470 on one bill and 460 on the other, so.
And then
You
the,
understand that? So that when you pay the bill, you're telling them what lines we're paying part of and what lines.
Well, it's line 62, right?
Well, they're all 62 with
Right.
cut shows.
But it's,
They have a line of 470, about 2/3 of the way down. Right under line 587.50, if they want to do that 460.
I will talk to Brad tomorrow about all the drive time. From Belfry to Billings.
And then on 53,950, you're deducting on page 2, the 460 one time. Only one time.
correct,
There's 2 of them, which we're only deducting one. All right. There's 2 $460 charges, but you're only deducting.
53590.
There's two 460s and then there's
One 470.
470.
Yeah, one right here is 470.
Not on
51.
450.
Cut on 51, it's 470.
That's 460.
Oh, it's 470 on mine.
The second 460,
Okay, five,
Oh, 51 is the one.
on 53590, Mr. Director's review pointed out there's two $460 charges.
Right.
The first one was for the drive time, that's what I'm
51
striking.
was paid.
The second one was for meeting time,
Right.
so
I know,
that would be paid.
Back, we're gonna get some money back, we're not paying, right, for Belfry.
So that is the $1,390.
90, that's how it counts. Yes,
I understand what you're doing.
thank you. Good.
So,
Because I want, we need to be clear.
so then can we add to the motion that then we will be paying $9,751.78? Because when you deduct the 11,141.78 minus 1,390, that's what you get. I think the paid amount has to be in the motion so that if Susie's gonna be paying the bill, she knows what to pay.
What was the amount again?
It's, what I did is $9,751.78.
What was your number again, Bill?
$9,751.78. I did it on Excel.
If that's the correct number.
Yep. I decided not to use my mind. I just use Excel.
Okay, so rather than saying deduct 1,390, we'll say pay this invoice for 9,751.78.
Correct.
Okay,
and that would be invoice 390.
Correct.
right. No, 5390.50. 51's already been.
53950.
Yeah.
It's all 5951.
Right, Rasmus,
And we vote.
yes. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously.
So, but there was supposed to be a $60,000 bill that came in just after our June meeting, and it's not in here. So it's not in our July packet. So where is it?
It's
Oh,
not
they
been presented in any weekly statement neither, so
I-
we don't have such a bill, you're airhead.
But, well, you told us that the bill came in. So where is it?
They totaled 60,000 in June. but then
Okay.
I added them,
Okay,
because I keep track of them going on.
okay.
Okay, we move to assented.
Hold on.
This is the last unpaid bill. 901
We're still Western,
Western Municipal, you're right, you're right. Census, nobody wants to read it.
when we get staff, all of us is important. Negotiation.
Yeah, well. I you try to keep it all on the computer, but there's too much, you gotta summarize it. I did talk to them about their bill and not paying it. Um, And the question is not paying the bill, which they know we're not gonna do, the consequences of that is they're probably not gonna do any work for us. And how can we possibly save the situation with the actors that we have involved right now and that we're doing business with? So I have talked to Fisher numerous times and see if they can by some way find another organization that could be the trust. And they keep going back to, well, a census, and they're kind of married by the hip, and they want to make another proposal for us. And I said, I don't think we're a little bit beyond that at this point, so that's no good. And then I talked to Randall Hurley a few times and asked them, because they're the third party. And we did get a proposal from them, and I didn't know that, back in December of last year, to kind of do this. So.
To do what?
To be the record keeper and administrator.
The what the census does. So part of the problem there is that potentially the Fisher might not accept them working with them. Currently, they do work with American, John Hancock, Empower, Schwab, and the advantage here would be that Randall, we have very good working relationship with them, what I understand, for the last 10 years or so. And their pricing is in par with some other quotes that I've received. ADT, I have experience working with them. I like the way they do it. They're a little pricey. And with 7 people, we're 7 people on this plane, 6, I think, actually, we're 7 employees. It can be pricey. Now, what's happening today, and I don't know if you realize this, but Fisher charge each employee 0.95% on their balance to manage their account, in addition to what we pay. So the new proposal from Randall Hurley, and everybody likes them, they like Fisher, is around 4,000, and ADT is about $5,000. And sometimes you're better off working with people you know that have credibility with. And I know that Susan, nothing but good things to say about Randall Hurley. So I like to work on it a little bit more in hope to solve the situation for our employees, because if we pursue the route we have, just cutting the biblical cord with these other people. We're gonna leave them stranded, and I think we might potentially get sued by the employees. Because they have to be involved in this, like it or not. And if we can move the trust component here from a census and combined it with Randall Hurley, I think we're better off, simpler system. And it might cost us less. And I was very surprised that we're actually letting Fisher charge our employee for manage their account. Normally, that's borne by the employer. I always pay for it. So that makes it, for us, less expensive to do the Randall Hurley kind of proposal. And that was like in December of last year.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
What I'm saying, give me more time. And I will, I do have I didn't realize it, but I had them resend it to me. And the question is, will Fisher accept that Randall Hurley serve or perform those two functions? The banking function, the administrative function, because they have a very close working relationship with the census.
Fisher.
And what Fisher does, yeah. So Fisher's a very big company, you know, so I don't know if they need skin off their back to do this. The question is, can they do it mechanically? I don't know.
Tom?
Right, now, doing this, will this change us from having a profit sharing and a 401 type retirement? Right now, we automatically give every employee 5% of their pay as profit sharing, whether they participate or not.
Correct.
Last year, a number of the board was adamant that we have no profit. We should not be in profit sharing. Retirement or the district's job is to aid the employees with the retirement, not give them. We were willing to meet dollar for dollar up to 10% of what an employee wanted to contribute without any profit sharing. That's a net change of nothing if everybody does max. It's in 10%, we match 5%, plus we give 5% in profit share. We're taking nothing away. Can we still make those kind of changes, keeping Randall Hurley? Is this better than going out for 3 proposals like you had suggested before?
Well, I've been working on that, trust me, and when you have 6 people shopping around, there are some minimum things they need. But to answer your question, I totally agree that you should probably rephrase that profit sharing and make it part of the 401k contribution. As far as putting them in the same fund, yes, that's no problem. But the wording profit, I think we should not use.
Josh, I'm sorry, I told.
I thought you were gonna call and
Yes.
my question is, how many dollars are going from the employees, just the employees?
Yeah.
Into these investment funds for these retirement plans? Just ballpark.
Well, I can get you, the total fund it's a little over $1 million that.
Well, that's not per year.
No, but the total fund. is.
Yeah, how much per year do you? ballpark?
There was a slip out.
Do you know
Well,
that?
that showing everyone's contribution in the federal one. Most employees were at least 8, some were as high as 12.
Percent, yeah, I'm just thinking, I'm trying to get an idea, because $4,000 to $5,000 a month, or $4,000 to $5,000 a year to manage the funds seems like a pretty high percentage.
Good for you.
You know, and I would think that we might be able to beat that someplace, but without knowing how many dollars are flowing through, you can't estimate what kind of percentage they're nicking.
But, you know, the
That's a
401
pretty big expense.
the 401 contributions that we make is, I think, less than 2,000 a month. That we put into that account. So the employees typically was matched out, so let's say it's no more than, yeah.
30, 60, $40,000 a year.
So they're getting 10% or more.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's what I think.
That's what.
That's separate issue.
I was just gonna say to address Tom's deal, that's when you guys had Haley down here, that's where she was saying like the plan amendments. Changing the language and you can change it to whatever you want, but you have to give was it 60 or 90 days notice to the employees.
Yeah, I think you need to review the whole plan, the summary plan description, the vesting schedule, and a few other things. But that's a different issue, and these people can advise us to do that. You know, so I think when the plan was written was before 1999, so it is at least 20 years old, so you need to update that, but those are different issues. What I try to do is to prevent us from getting in trouble with our employees. And I think this is, if it would work, would be cost effective for us, smooth and very welcome from staff and our employees. I think they would like that solution.
Well, yeah, we're paying the census $4,000 a year to do this.
Well, 901 times 4.
Yeah.
Mhm. And then we're paying another 2,500 at least to Randall Hurley.
Right.
And then they're paying,
27.
and then they're paying the employees too. It's,
Right,
and
so
the
there-
employees need at least a 12% retirement benefit to come out.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody who's not putting in their own money is gonna be in trouble. It's under there.
I agree.
Should we pay this bill and just to buy time and clear stuff up and then we got it?
Or do you need
As I
to-
mentioned at the other point, the unintended consequences would cost you.
So maybe we
I
can,
would highly recommend you take.
okay, I move we pay this and work on getting
Right,
somewhere else, someplace else that's gonna be a lot more
Bear in mind that
palatable to.
we're gonna get a bill for $901.25 next month.
Or more workers.
Yeah. So.
So
Is there a second to Frank's motion?
I saw,
Oh, you seconded already?
Yeah.
I think we've had enough discussion.
It's. The thing that I object to is they are legally required by law to lay out their fees, not just to send a bill, and we have no contract. We have no evidence of what their fees are. I've asked for that repeatedly. Where is the contract? It shows what they're charging.
that's why I need to change.
I have
But they're-
that contract.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
well,
I have it in. And you know who signed it.
right, but all we've seen is just a signature on it. We've seen a signature page, but we've seen no contract.
Right, seen the.
No, by law, all of that is, all these proposals I have, they're all very explicit.
But did we have that from a census?
Yes,
So can you send it to us?
yeah, we have that.
Because we don't have it in our contract.
Okay. All in favor of paying the census for the first quarter, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
I'm saying no until I see the contract.
No,
Yeah, order two. Motion carries. Okay, now let's move to Western Municipal.
The bill's on page 27 of the packet.
Yeah.
Everybody seen it? $330,000, $655.78. Their contract clearly states on page 1 of 8. Substantial completion of the work shall be within 25 days upon the start of the work. Started the work is defined as the beginning temporary water. Now, Bull just got here, and they started temporary water on April 29th. 25 work days after that, they were not done. Now, it did rain Thursday. They didn't work Thursday, Friday, or Monday, Memorial Day. I can't knock them those 3 days. So legitimately, we got a lot. But they're 13 days over. They didn't finish until Monday. 24th of June. They finished the asphalt Friday. I thought that would be the end of substantial work. It was the city inspector. I asked him, so this ends the completion of substantial work? He says, no, no way. Asphalt is not complete until it passes compaction testing. Asphalt cannot be compaction testing until at least the next day after it is put down. So it did not pass compaction until Monday.
Yeah.
So that is their last day of completion. Now, they were out there Monday and Tuesday doing more work, backfilling sidewalks, driveways, curbs, cleaning up the street, etc. But their substantial completion is 13 days late. The contract authorizes us to deduct $750 a day. That's $9,750. Therefore, I move we pay this bill less than $9,750 late fee for them being late.
I'll second it.
Discussion, all right?
Okay, I'm even going back further than that. Let's see, I don't know what day this was. 2939. We had a bid from them to do this job. The quantity was 1,360 feet. The total cost is $326,842. They did the job 557 feet and charged us 330,000. So they did half of what the original price was. And how did they come up with a contract for 330 and only 557 feet? I never saw a contract saying. And then I'd also like to add to it, I sat down and figured out what it cost to put those service lines into each place. 34.7% of the total bill was the cost of replacing service lines that may have been able to be patched right next to the main, like a lot of other water companies do. That's pretty exorbitant amount of money, especially if we're gonna start considering replacing mains. So we don't have them all 48 miles come in 2 years. So, but I'd like to know first off, how the cost jumped from $240 a linear foot to $403 a linear foot. I never saw any contract stating that, and now we got this bill, so.
Do we have an original contract that was signed?
No, we got a estimate here from them, if that's what it was $240. $240 $240.33 a linear foot.
But I mean, a contract for the whole.
No, it wasn't signed, but that's their estimate that it was gonna cost, and that's what it was talked about in the April 2nd meeting. But that's what it was gonna be, and now all of a sudden we got a $330,000 bill for half the amount.
I've got a copy of a contract dated 4/25/24 between Western Municipal and the district. Signed by Doug Carey, Jim Burns, Doc Foss, Kathy Foss. The seal is by Jeremy Bishop. And the second page mentions Josh Simpson, Assistant Manager, Terry Sutherland, Assistant Process Manager for Western Municipal. And there are the itemized bids. has the footage down of 8-inch PVC. That's 7,200, that's quantity, 7,200, 728,000. What that mean? I have no clue. $281,985.75. So, however, I know when they were working, the bid was for 3/4 inch services. They were pulling 1-inch services out on the south side. So they had to replace them with 1-inch services. You can't put a 3/4 inch service in and connect it to a 1-inch curb valve.
They replaced the valves too.
Yeah. Is there more work than was bid? I don't know.
But did that Heights Water issue a purchase order for this signed contract?
Do we issue purchase orders, Josh?
No, not a purchase order, but that was, the difference is their quantities. If you look at the quantities on what the original bid price for, or big quantity for asphalt is different than what their final bill is. It's all quantities difference. The dollar value per is same, but the quantities change. Quantities on sidewalk, gutter, concrete, asphalt, those quantities are different than the original.
That was included in it. There was the service lines were included in it. On the one I got anyway.
The parts were all supposed to be
We supplied the parts.
supplied by the district, so when they changed from 1-inch to 3/4, or 3/4,
And at the meeting, that April 2nd meeting, I was under the assumption the district was gonna pick up the asphalt. And work with the city on the asphalt extra. So anyway, that's a lot different than 1,360 feet at $326,000. So if you look at 330. And that was 750 feet, so that's about six and a half times that to do a mile. So $2 million to do a mile, yeah. So I don't think we're overcharging,
97.50.
no, but by the rates. I don't,
So what I'm hearing is our original contract was for under $300,000.
$326,000.
No,
Oh, that was
the
was
$286,000.
$281,985.75.
And now they send us a bill for 330.
But their original estimate was for 1,360 feet and 326,000. And they didn't have the water service lines, and they went back and put that in and still didn't charge. They changed the final amount, but still say 326,000. And that was for 1,360. And that's,
This is 700.
That's your estimate.
I want to make a substitute motion that we postpone payment of his bills. So the district manager and the assistant and figure with this contractor and try to, try to get the pricing to be in line with the contract that was signed, or bring some explanation back. I think this explains why we need to deal with the purchasing policy issue that was before we leave tonight.
Well, you would think a purchase order would be issued, and on the purchase order, we use our wording, not their wording, of what it is that we want.
Change order.
And he will accept our purchase order and will sign off on it. But here, how do you compare this with what? What is we agreed on? I don't know. I'm not familiar with the original. Well, but you have one, he has one.
And the contract that's in the packet says 252,266. So
But well, Josh and I will sit down and find out what is the difference. I'm sure there is some explanation, but it's not.
952
My
is for the
substitute
next
motion is
phase.
the second.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Pam. Tom,
The 250,000 contract grant has reference to in the packet has nothing to do with this bill in Western Municipal. That is part of the bid that the city is gonna release next Monday for phase 2 of the stormwater
Okay,
removal. And they're asking us to pay 252,000 to change the water line under their specs, not ours. And they're only gonna use one valve. That's all this there now. This is totally ridiculous.
Well, that is off the motion.
The rest of it, but the 250 in the packet has nothing to do with this.
any other discussion? We have, can you repeat your motion, Jeff? Postpone the
They
payment?
postpone the payment until the directed the general manager and the assistant have a chance to sit down with the contractor and get them to rationalize their bill versus the contract that was signed.
I'm just trying to find if there's a late penalty on this thing at all, and I don't find it.
Penalty on what?
Late payment.
It's in the contract.
What,
No,
we
anything.
can, we can contact them and say we have some questions, so,
Yeah,
you
they
know,
can,
don't worry about, it. I don't think. you
they
have to
can
worry
find the
about it.
contract and you can,
Yeah,
that'll be part of it.
It's on
Yeah.
page 2, it's $750
I
a day.
don't have the contract. in front of me, so don't. But his,
No, I think he's saying the late fee on the invoice.
on the invoice, doesn't have anything.
No, it doesn't.
So all in favor of postponing, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
This is unanimously. If Bo and Josh could come to an agreement with them, that's gonna be another 30+ days out. So, the board will have another meeting. Do you want any latitude on that if they can come to a consensus?
you can make the business, you make the work session a business session by including the agenda 48 hours in advance and including the documentation, so we can make a decision. You don't put in the agenda packet, then we can't make a decision. And that's 2 weeks off, that's a much better way to do it.
Any other comments? Okay. Purchase order policy by Mayor Manager. You were going to rewrite.
yes, you discussed it at your last meeting. And there were no suggested changes at that time. So I don't know what it is to discuss.
There was some work, couple of words from city or county. or-
Right, I changed that. Yeah, I changed that.
Director Esmond.
Mr. Chairman, move adoption of the resolution providing for a purchasing policy.
Second. Been moved and seconded. Any comment, discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the purchase order policy as presented last month by our general manager, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. And if you
Thank
could, if you could raise policy or
Right.
resolution.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah,
Because
we'll
we'll
do
have the resolutions.
Sure.
Okay, down to new business. Approve annexations of next phase of the Bar 11 subdivision.
And that's in the package here.
Do you have any other information to present at this time?
Do we, Josh, other than the drawing?
No, it was all, it's all been,
Move for approval of the annexation for next phase.
Second.
We've been seconded to approve annexation of the next phase of Bar 11 subdivision.
So,
Pam,
so is
discussion?
this free?
Pardon?
Is this free? Because there's no amount specified, there's, for annexation?
No, there's no annexation.
There's no annexation.
Okay, all right.
Does that fall in the area of the Heights Water District?
Yes.
Does it exist now? Okay.
Yep. Yep. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of, approving annexation of the next phase of the Bar 11 subdivision, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Next is to adopt change in task order 28 per resolution. And resolution did not get written, so we will just strike that out of here.
Right, I think it all is up to the city, and like I
I think
mentioned,
we've discussed it.
So it's just struck from there, from the new business. Revise and extend completion date on task order 29.
well, they have requested October.
Well, when we met with them yesterday, looking at it, the 99% completion is through October, but you still have the, public notice, public hearing, all the I's to draw, the dot and T's to cross that are required by funding agencies that do it. So like 100% adoption would be November. But as far as the document itself, it's, they have 99% completion.
Director Esserman?
With respect to the consolidation study, Morrison Mayo says they need the PER in order to evaluate
Right.
our capital improvements plan. They said because the capital improvements plan should be based upon the PER, which of course ours is not. But, so can they get the work product done before October? Or what percentage of the work product can they get done before October? Because a lot of stuff is ready.
I asked them for a preliminary report, follow-up report, or temporary. And their explanation is the staff shortage. They have one person working on this. So they know that we are pressed for time, and they know the reason for it as well. But
Are they working on any other task orders that we could
No.
suspend so that they can free up time?
they do not work on 28.
No, everything,
So-
that's all on this one. Actually,
And it seemed to me they really focus on the system-wide peer.
So
So
do we have a resolution to pass tonight, or what are you asking?
no, you guys already made a resolution.
No, we have not. No, their contract says it's due 2 months ago.
it was an estimated delivery date.
Oh, as far as the lane, no, you're right. No, there is no resolution.
Oh,
Right.
So this PER we're talking about, that's a system-wide look at everything we got. So how can they complete that PER before we do a water main assessment that we're working on getting going right now?
Well,
That would fall on, I mean, that's a really big part
very much.
of our system. So we need to ASAP that, and they cannot come up with a true PER unless they have that information in their hands.
I think it would be somewhat crucial, yes.
Very crucial, I think, especially the age of them. You know, we're talking 60+ years on some of this.
No, I totally agree. I totally agree with that.
But we do need to revise and get an extended date on that completion.
We gotta get working on the assessment. We're gonna do it. We gotta get that done and get it to them so that they can finish that part of the program.
So recommendation, should we strike that from the agenda?
No, let's just get somebody to write a resolution for next month. We do need to have an official halftime. It's supposed to be done in May.
Director Esserman?
question for the general manager. I do think Director Ewald's suggestion that perhaps we do a preliminary review statistically with the, the AI tools in terms of which areas to focus on first.
Yeah,
If we could get that done, a contract for that done fairly quickly, and then based upon that, then you can figure out whether you want to hire Pure or that other, there's a couple of other firms that do the same thing.
Yes.
We may have, depending upon the AI results, we may find that in certain areas, there's problems with smaller diameter pipes.
sure.
Then that's gonna impact which contractor we hire for the pipe assessment. So I do think the AI review is really important from an, to try to focus what you do next in terms of,
To give
we
direction,
gotta get that
to
going.
give direction to the general manager, can you summarize that to something that we can do with a resolution?
No, I think I'm giving him feedback. I don't know that we need to resolve on everything. I mean, he's got
I
good
think-
judgment. I just wanted to provide some input.
I think Bo has been proving himself really well, and we need to get out of the day-to-day. We just have to suggest, we need to get this stuff done. Bo's gonna get it done for us, he's gonna bring the report to us, and we're gonna keep moving on.
Yes, right.
So I say, I think the board needs to just step back just a little bit, and Bo has proven himself, since, but Bo run it, and he brings the information to us, and we go from there.
I agree.
Well, I know how important it is because I sat on the meeting with the city and we haven't had a system here for what, 20 years, Josh?
2008.
2008.
So,
A long time. So I know how important it is and we'll get it done.
Do you have a comment or anything?
No.
All righty, next item, which did not appear on here, but we definitely have to discuss. Wicks Lane in Inverness,
It's Grace Point Church. Finish.
that is what it is right now, Grace Point Church. That's what Wicks and Lane in Inverness is.
Oh,
What's going on, Mr. Chairman?
Okay, there's a proposal and what's the engineering company?
performance.
Performance. They want to not connect to the Heights water system. They want to go underneath and across the street and connect to the city on the south side of Wicks Lane. And I think we need to be proactive on this and get a legal opinion and not be bashful. That is our protected territory. And if we let this go by, we've opened the gate. Tom,
I agree with everything you just said. Back in the eighties, when the Supreme Court dealt with the city, the jurisdiction, Supreme Court said that if you live on one side of the line, you deal with this company. If you live on the other side of the line, you deal with that company. Therefore, totally against the law of anyone in our district to deal with the city, for us to deal with someone outside the city. We've got to respect the boundary that is drawn. We didn't ask to have it drawn. Nobody at the district asked. It's drawn. It must stand, and we must protect.
so I guess what I'm going to ask is,
Do we have a proposal from Grace Point? Or how did this come to us?
yes,
And what,
It all,
is there a letter from them?
so it all started when I got I got called by a contractor asking about this project. He said, isn't that up in our area? I said, yes. I said, I have not seen anything of it. So in talking with the engineer, I said, that's in our district. We have a main that fronts it on Inverness. We have a main running down Wicks. They're proposing, as you can see in the drawing that I sent, that's in there, they want to go from the south side of Wicks, which is where the city's 12-inch main is. Go underneath of our existing 12-inch in Wicks. And then cut across the property to serve that church,
You know,
rather than there's either our 12-inch right there or an 8-inch in Inverness that they could tie into and go straight in. Is also,
So how did you get a copy of this print?
I got it from the engineer.
From performance engineering.
And I talked to him on way back, last time I was in Helen, I talked with him at length on my trip back.
So
So what I'm proposing is a resolution by this board to not allow that. And we present the city with it as well as performance engineering. And I don't know if we need to bring our attorney in right away on this thing or how we should move forward on that. I'm looking for some guidance.
I'll make a motion. I move the board authorizes under the terms of our attorney. Our attorney use policy, which we've adopted, to authorize. The president to contact the attorney, research this, prepare a letter to the city. And all involved parties that we expect our territorial integrity to be respected.
Should we know whether we have the, just have him research whether it's actually legal for us?
I think I've read that court
So you-
case
so you're
myself.
thinking-
I don't think it's pretty black and white to me.
Okay.
I don't think it had an eraser where you could just say, okay, we're gonna erase this part out.
Is there a second on Jeff's motion? Second. Seconded by Greg. Tom?
I'm against using the attorney at this point. I think it's a waste of money. If we just quote the Supreme Court case, it has a case. It has language. If we just copy and paste the language out of the Supreme Court decision, that if you live on one side of the line, you deal with these, if you live on the other, you deal with those. And state that that's our position. If they want to challenge it, then we'll use the law. I don't think we need the lawyer to write a simple piece of paper that quotes Montana Supreme Court case that discusses the boundary of this district versus the boundary of the city. So I'm against the motion. I don't see wasting money on an attorney until maybe.
Any other comments?
Looking at the drawing with Josh, it seemed that the action that the engineering firm is proposing on the drawing is deliberate. What am I saying? Well, the service connection to the building is on the west side, and it would be a lot shorter and more convenient for them to run. Less costly, much simpler, right? Because if you look at the map, it's pretty obvious. So the contract or the engineering firm is deliberately doing, that's a big difference. He's deliberately doing this.
It's our connection fee that's killing it.
I'd like. And that's why I think the lawyer needs to be involved. This may be a setup for a test case. The engineer here happens to be on the city council. So I think we need to have the lawyer involved from the very beginning. I don't see any reason to delay involvement of the lawyer at this point.
And there's a long history of bad blood between performance engineering and the district. So, I mean, we've had Scott tell us directly, we will not be developing anything in the water district. And the only that requires water, the only thing they've developed, he's developed that I've seen since he made that statement was two storage units. This is the third one, and he's trying to skip around. So there's some good reasons why he's unhappy with the district, but it doesn't mean that he can. I don't know what the law is.
But from a technical standpoint of view, this is a deliberate action. It's not by accident or this is
Absolutely.
deliberate. There's a malintention. You know.
No, he doesn't want anything to do with the district. That's it, a long-term goal.
Okay. Further discussion, if any? If not, we'll, take a vote on the motion to involve our attorney to research and send a letter to the city as well as the developer on the outcome. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, thank you, folks. We have gotten through the agenda, however long it was.
Well, there was in the packet information on phase 2 of stormwater. Excellent. Showing an agreement that requires self-defined that we will pay the city the cost of changing the DC lines from Grand Road to where we just had to change. They have costs and everything else. Is that including parts? I mean, one line on it says it's $10,000 for a fire hydrant. If it's just raining, a fire hydrant, you're digging a 20-foot trench, sticking about 16 feet of pipe, and a fire hydrant, cement, $10,000. We're only sticking one valve in if we have a T at Durand Road. Shouldn't there be a valve on each side of that T in case of leaks, so we have minimum people shut down? Shouldn't there be valves on that fire hydrant? Should the T on Durand Road headed north be upsized to 8-inch like we're upsizing the west side?
Well, I would recommend that the board wait for Josh and myself to take a look at all that and make recommendations.
That's what I'm asking.
We should have them live up to our standard, what we specify. So let us take a read on that and make recommendations to the board for what we should accept and not accept. I don't think we're ready at this point to rebut the city, what they're doing.
When are they planning on
Next Monday.
Awarding the contract, yeah.
Well, then how are you gonna come back to us? For authorization?
Well, not
On a
authorization, but we'll inform you. The only thing we can do is get the information, the fact, and the specs of what they recommend. And see how it, Josh, I mean, if it's not to our liking and we'll make a big deal out of it, we'll contact you. We don't wait for the next board meeting.
So the president can call a special meeting if we need to get
Right.
together quickly. Okay. I
Because
just
we-
wanna know what the plan is.
Well, the plan from the city has been non-existent. They ramrod us on these things.
Yeah, nobody's contacted us.
So it's not good. So I'm trying to change that, working with Lewis and a few other, and the guy who. No, Debbie is the one heading up this project. So we know the actors here. And we just need to work together.
Don't we need a little good faith once in a while?
We do. John?
I originally got a copy of the bid plans. It showed all the place. And I thought, oh, the city's gonna pay to change the water line. I thought it was, because the city's doing the engineering, through performance engineering.
And I
I don't know, you have a copy of the bid plans, I'll give you what I got.
Well, send whatever you have, send it,
I
and whatever,
can't, because I can't scan, so you just.
drop them off or we pick them off.
I got them from Tyler.
You got it, because, some of these projects, we don't get the heads up. We get the information with the contractors. And, they're not really asking for our input. So it's a question of going down there and talking to them, not the engineering outfit, but to the people. And I think this one was headed up by Diane herself, she's there. Debbie? Debbie, yeah.
My gut feeling is the city has remorse on what they charged us.
We didn't charge.
You mean they didn't charge
How
us
many,
enough?
how many feet is it?
We got raped on that thing.
Okay,
We got raped on.
What?
On what? On Wicks Lane down here. We've provided all the materials. Yeah, and we still got charged $330,000. They're gonna do more footage. We don't supply anything.
Well, we don't know.
We're about half the price.
but I thought we negotiated the agreement with
No.
Western Municipal, which is what drove the price up so much. Isn't that on us?
Howard, we can't work like that.
Move to adjourn.
Okay, I got it on the.
We are,
I know, but I'd like to add it to the work section, because we agreed early that we get in the new business and we didn't get to it.